torula stage. Sorry, torula stage. Torula stage. This is important. So torula stage develops when sugar rich medium present. Okay, sugar rich medium present, then it will come on torula stage. Okay, so these what we seen that all under asexual reproduction. Now we have to come on sexual reproduction or sexual mode of reproduction in fungi. So come on that. Third type is sexual mode of reproduction in fungi. Okay, thirdly, sexual mode of reproduction in fungi. Okay, now this sexual mode of reproduction, here what happens? Reduction division occurs. So what we can say, the sexual reproduction is reduced in fungi and takes place by two fusing gametes. Here gametes formation occurs, and that occurs with the help of three stages. One is plasmogamy, one is karyogamy, and one is meiosis. So what I told, sexual reproduction is reduced in fungi. Okay, here what happens? Reduction division mostly takes place, so reduced in fungi, and takes place by two fusing gametes. And takes place by two fusing gametes. Okay, these are takes place by two fusing gametes. Now, this sexual reproduction contain three stages. What are the stages are there? We have to see. It includes three stages. Now, first stage already I discussed, plasmogamy, then karyogamy, then meiosis. So what we have to see? First is plasmogamy, means cytoplasm fusion. Then karyogamy means nucleus fusion, and third is meiosis. So one by one we have to see what are the things are there in that. So first we have to come on plasmogamy. Okay, now in plasmogamy, as we told, that union between two haploid protoplast, okay, protoplasm are there. So union between two haploid protoplast, which result in bringing the fusing nuclei, okay, fusing nuclei of different parents that close together. So what I told, there is union between two protoplasts. Okay, what happens here? There is union between two protoplasts that are haploid. So that are haploid. Haploid means N. Okay, so that are haploid and result in bringing the fusion nuclei and results in bringing the fusing nuclei. Okay, results in bringing the fusing nuclei of two different parent close together. Of two different parent close together. Okay, two different parent, what happens? Close together, that are having close together. Okay, but two groups are there, two members of groups are there in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, where what happens, they are showing a dikaryotic stage. What do you mean by dikaryotic stage? Intermediate stage. Okay, we have to see now. In the members of Ascomycetes group, we will discuss this one in detail. Ascomycetes group and Basidiomycetes group of fungi. Okay, so in the members of Ascomycetes group and Basidiomycetes group of fungi, here dikaryotic stage is found. Dikaryotic stage means N plus N stage. Now, this you have to remember what are the groups are there. One is Ascomycetes and one is Basidiomycetes, where dikaryotic stage is found. Okay. Now, dikaryotic means intermediate, where no fusion occurs between the nucleus. Okay. So that's why it is known as a dikaryotic phase or simply dikaryophase. Both is same. Dikaryotic or dikaryophage. Okay, so this is the that found in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes group. Okay, so first stage we seen in sexual reproduction, plasmogamy. Now come on next stage, that is karyogamy. Now, karyon means nucleus. So here what happens? Two haploid nuclei. Okay, two haploid nuclei which come close during plasmogamy fused together. Okay, they are fusing and forming what? Diploid zygote is produced. So what I told? The two haploid nuclei which come close together, which come close together during plasmogamy, fused and form a diploid zygote. Okay, and they are forming what? A diploid zygote. Okay, now third stage is what? Third stage is meiosis. So come on that third stage. Third stage is meiosis. Now, meiosis means what? This is reduction division. So, reduction division takes place in zygote and they are forming number of what? Organisms, that chromosomes containing to half. So, what I told? here reduction division takes place. Reduction division takes place where chromosome number becomes half. Chromosome number becomes half. Okay, so this is belonging to meiosis. Okay, now meiosis takes place where? So here means zygote I am discussing. Okay, so here in zygote reduction division takes place where chromosome number becomes half. So graphically just showing that what are the things are happening. So graphically for showing that this is male gametes, this is female gametes. Okay, so these gametes come close together and what happens? Process is plasmogamy. Then what happens? These are having n plus n stage. Okay, but in where? In ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. For example, in ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. This is known as dikaryon phase. Okay, then what happens? These after dikaryon phase, what happens? Karyogamy occurs. So here karyogamy, and these karyogamy, what happens? They become diploid. Okay, so this is known as a synkaryon. Here what happens? Synkaryon, and this is forming what? Zygote. Now here what happens? Meiosis occurs. So here reduction division meiosis occurs and 4 haploid nuclei are being formed. Okay, so this is the process that involves in sexual reproduction. So these are sexual reproduction stages. Okay, now this stage is important because directly questions are asking from this. Sometimes this will be removed or blank and they will ask from options. Here also this will be blank and they will ask from options. Here also. Okay, so like that questions are coming. So these are the stages of sexual reproduction. Now we have to come on what are the divisions that are contained in kingdom fungi. So first we will discuss Phycomycetes, division Phycomycetes. So first is division Phycomycetes. Now, mostly the members of division Phycomycetes is found in aquatic medium, where they are found in aquatic habitat. Okay, and on decaying wood. Okay, dead or decaying wood, which are found in moist and damp place, and they are happening as obligate parasite. They are acting as parasite. Okay, and this type is mostly having mycelium aseptate and cynocetic. Yesterday we discussed cynocetic. Okay, so what I told, members of Phycomycetes members of Phycomycetes mostly belongs to aquatic habitat. Okay, they are mostly belongs to what? Aquatic habitat. And they are founding in where? And on decaying woods. So aquatic habitats and on decaying woods. Okay, so one is aquatic habitat and another where they are founding. So they are found on aquatic habitat and on decaying woods. Okay, and that wood must be in moist and damp places. Okay, so decaying woods in moist and damp places, because mostly what we see in fungi are saprophytes. They are depending on dead and decay organisms. Okay, so now these also found as obligate parasite on the plants. So what I told, these are also found as obligate parasite, means they are destroying to the plants. So obligate parasites on plants. Okay, these are found as what? Obligate parasite on plants. Now here what happens? The mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic. The mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic, like that. Okay, so here what happens? Nucleus is there, combined form nucleus is there, but they are having in what conditions? Aseptate and cynocytic. So like that they are having. So this is, you have to remember that in which division mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic. Okay, so that division name is Phycomycetes. Okay, now here what happens? Mostly asexual reproduction takes place, and that asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores if motile condition is there, or aplanospore if non-motile is there. So what I told, here asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores, that is motile, or aplanospore, that is non-motile. Okay, so asexual reproduction, that is takes place by zoospore or aplanospore. Now, these spores, already I told, these spores are formed endogenously inside sporangium. So what I told here, these spores are formed endogenously inside sporangium. Okay, so these spores are formed endogenously inside sporangium. Okay, now these gametes, if sexual reproduction they are occurring, so what happens, these gametes are similar in morphology sometime, that is known as isogamy, or if dissimilar is there, so anisogamy or oogamy. So what I told here, gametes morphologically similar, that is isogamy, and dissimilar, that is anisogamy or oogamy. Okay, here gametes morphological similar and dissimilar forms are present. Okay, so both are having either isogamy, either anisogamy. Now, if we are seeing the example of phycomycetines, so examples are Rhizopus, Mucor, Albigo. So, for example, Rhizopus, Mucor, Albigo. Now, this Rhizopus mucor and the albigo. So this albigo is what? This is a parasitic fungi on mustard plant. So albigo is what? Parasitic fungi on mustard. This is the medical question. Albigo belongs to, albigo is having what? Parasitic fungi on mustard. Okay. Now, one by one we have to see. Common features are there, Rhizopus or Mucor, and then we will come on albigo. So their examples also important. So we have to give explanation of this. So first we have to see Rhizopus and Mucor, because they both are having common. So we will come on both simultaneously. Okay. So example, Rhizopus and Mucor. Now, they are cosmopolitan, means they are found in everywhere, and mostly they are saprophytic. Okay, saprophytic fungus. So these are cosmopolitan and saprophytic in nature. Saprophytic in nature. That means depends on dead and decay organism for their food. Okay, so this is what? This is Rhizopus or Mucor. Now, if you are seeing moist bread, okay, So Rhizopus stolonifer. Okay, Rhizopus stolonifer. Rhizopus stolonifer. Okay, so this organism, Rhizopus stolonifer or fungi, they are doing what? Occur very frequently on moist bread. So they are found on, occur very frequently on moist bread. Okay, they are found where? In moist bread. This you have to remember. Which fungi found on moist bread? So that is Rhizopus stolonifer. Okay. Now, since they are present on moist bread and forming black like spot, and hence commonly called black bread mold, and commonly called black bread mold. Okay. Sometime also asking which fungi known as black bread mold. So that is what? Rhizopus stolonifer. Okay. Now, mucor also causes and found on dung. Okay. So that's why it is also known as mucor is called dung mold. Mucor is also known as what? Dung mold. Okay. Now, in sporangia, they are forming pin-like structure, or what they are forming black-colored pin molds. Okay, pin head-like sporangium, and that's why they also known as a pin mold. So what I told, these are forming black pin-like structure on sporangia and known as pin mold. Okay, so that's why they are known as what? They are known as pin mold. So now you have to understand that what are the organisms that belongs to pin mold. So that is a Rhizopus and mucor. Okay. Now this also forming a white colony. Okay, they are also forming white colony of cottony growth, or what we can say simply, they are forming white cottony growth, and that's why, and that is happening where? Fresh organic matter like jams, like jelly, like cheese, like pickle. Okay, so what I told, it also appears, these Rhizopus and mucor, these also appears as white cottony growth present on jams, jellies, or pickles, etc. Okay, so they also found as what? White cottony growth. Okay, now if we are seeing their reproduction, so they also having three modes of reproduction. So we have to come on that. Reproduction. it takes place by all the three modes in Rhizopus and mucus, having all the three modes. Okay. Now, if we are seeing vegetative reproduction, so first is vegetative reproduction. So, in vegetative reproduction, the mode is their fragmentation. So, here what happened? It takes place by fragmentation. It takes place by fragmentation. Okay, it takes place by what? Fragmentation. Okay, now here what happens if stolen brocks, okay, are broken down due to some injury accidentally into small segments, so that develops into new mycelium. So what I told, if stolen breaks into segments due to injury, thus the segment produced a new mycelium. Okay, so here mostly what happens in this one, fragmentation occurs in Rhizopus and mucor. If we are saying about asexual reproductions, what is that? We have to see in this Rhizopus mucor what the mode they are having. Asexual reproduction. Now, in asexual reproduction, it occurs by mitospores. Already I told that a spores occurs with the help of mitosis division, so known as mitospores. So here mitospores, sporangiosspores, and chlamydospores and idea, all the things are having. So what I told, it occurs by mitosis, that is a mitospores, that's why known as mitospores, where sporangiospores, okay, where what happens, sporangiospores, chlamydospores and oidea takes place. Sporangiospores, chlamydospores and idea mode takes place. Okay, so this is happens in Rhizopus and mucor. If we are saying regarding sexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, so here what happens, this takes place by conjugation. What happens here, two multinucleate but single celled gametangia fused. So here what happens, sexual reproduction takes place, sexual reproduction takes place by conjugation. Okay, here what happens, this takes place by conjugation, and between two multinucleate. So conjugation between two multinucleate. Okay, this is having what? Multinucleate means syncytic. Okay, so multinucleate but single celled gametangia. Multinucleate but single celled gametangia. This term you have to remember, that sexual reproduction takes place by which method? Conjugation method between two multinucleate but single celled gametangia. And these gametes may be isogamous. Okay, mostly they are having isogamous and non-motile. So what I told, these gametes are isogamous means morphologically similar, isogamous in